I'm Theron Ramacharaka. This video introduces my oration of the book by William Walker Atkinson, the book VRIL, or Vital Magnetism, as I recall, written in the year 1911. Let me first here just give you the table of contents. It's Lesson 1, the nature of VRIL. Lesson 2, VRIL in organic life. 3, the mechanism of VRIL. 4, VRIL in physical manifestation. 5, the transformation of VRIL. 6, VRIL in food and water. 7, VRIL in the air. 8, VRIL and the breath. 9, secret of VRIL absorption. 10, application of VRIL power. 11, conserving VRIL power, and the final chapter, 12, the psychic phase of VRIL. Now, what you will discover is that in the book here, if you don't already know, is that VRIL, and you may be, if you're not familiar with the term VRIL, or if you're vaguely familiar with it, but you're uncertain how it corresponds with some other things that you might be a little bit more familiar with, prana and VRIL are the same thing. The Hindu mysticism word for it is prana. So, for example, here in Lesson 8, VRIL and the breath, just looking at the title, we may then say, well, that's referring to, over in the Hindu side of it, we would call that, or refer to, pranayama, okay, control of prana via the breath. Okay, so why am I going ahead and putting this book here in my channel if we may already know of this subject by way of prana, our knowledge of prana? Well, a couple of reasons. First, VRIL, the book VRIL, or Vital Magnetism here, is among William Walker Atkinson's arcane teachings series of works. There is first the arcane teachings, and then arcane formulas, and then many classify VRIL as being the third, or the third in the series. I'm not sure how it was all written in the first place. I mean, I've come across there being actually like six bits of work of Atkinson's totaling the whole of the arcane teachings series that he wrote, but I've never found a 5 and a 6. I've located arcane teaching, arcane formulas, VRIL, mystery of sex, or sex polarity. That's 4. I've never come across a 5 and a 6, so I'm not sure about the entirety of that collected work, but I think that once I then add on the mystery of sex, or sex polarity here, following VRIL, which is my intention, that it will be the entire arcane series by William Walker Atkinson. So I'm just trying to, for one reason, round off or complete the arcane portion of William Walker Atkinson's writings, because, well, I think that here in my channel, the arcane teaching and the arcane formulas are vital. And for those who are familiar with prana, additionally, then see, when we talk about VRIL, the way Atkinson writes about VRIL in this book, for most of us Westerners, at least for me, having been familiar with prana and pranayama for many years, the way he addresses VRIL is a bit more powerful, a bit more. It drives it all home for me. It makes the concept and the practice more tangible. I think it just suits the Western mind a little bit more. He does write about prana elsewhere in his Hatha Yoga book, and I have some of the concepts that will come up here in this VRIL book are already located elsewhere here on my channel, and I think in the food and nourishment playlist, where I do provide some of Atkinson's ideas from his Hatha Yoga material. He refers to, as I recall, in that he's referring to prana. Same thing, really. But here it's just more potently written, more tangible, it makes it feel more practicable, and it's a well-written work. So that's another reason why I'm including it here. Additionally, there is some in some remote circles, social circles, there is interest in VRIL as VRIL, the word, the term. There is some specific interest, as in there was, again, as you will discover as you go through the lessons in this book, you will early on in the book find that there was a writer named Bulwer who wrote supposedly a piece of fiction in which he refers to VRIL and seems to be rather knowledgeable of it and its history of reference or denotation, in which he refers to a super race that is involved with certain of our human species creators or gods, apparently from whom we inherited our VRIL. We got their VRIL, or at least the super race part of us. That VRIL there is inherited directly from our creator gods, let's say. And so there did become, for a while, I believe, in Germany, in around the Nazi, the Third Reich era, there was a VRIL society, as I recall. Well, see, in my opinion, this idea of inheriting, now whether Bulwer was writing fiction or kind of like fact fiction, he might have been referring to at least what he took to be some actual events, but calling it fiction, I don't know. But in my opinion, you see, the interest in that side of the whole VRIL notion, I'm not convinced of it. I mean, the whole idea of there being some super race that inherited VRIL from the creator gods. Well, come on. That would be like saying that there's a super race of people, like a Homo sapiens revised edition that got its power of will from its creators, and therefore they're better. Well, come on. While it's not quite accurate to say that willpower is willpower, because, it has its different modes of manifestation and so forth, but still, there's not a super race version of will. If you inheriting will from a race or creators, no, that's not where it comes from. It comes from the universal source. Okay, so same with VRIL. So I think that while there may indeed have been the VRIL Society and some creator gods, I'm not arguing against that. It's just that level of interest in VRIL associated with that kind of that thinking, that concept, or perhaps that history, I think may be a bit overdone. However, I do understand that there is that niche of interest in VRIL. So again, there's another reason to have put it here, because there is interest in it as being called VRIL. So here it is. I think it's a worthwhile work to add to the collection here. And anybody who is going through my entire series in an interactive practicing mode, my entire series of William Walker Atkinson narrations or orations, and for such people, that is why I am making one of my playlists is a long playlist, all my William Walker Atkinson orations put in a sequence for one's use. I'm adding it in here because I think it will do you very well. All right, so there it is. Enjoy. William Walker Atkinson, VRIL, or Vital Magnetism. I'm Theron Ramacharaka. Be well.